Scott,
Yes, sir.
what you got there?
Oh, boy. I shouldn't have let you go first. I have a watch review for you today.
What do you got?
I'm going to talk about the Mobvoi, the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS.
Nice.
It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot of name.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of watch, too.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a pretty cool watch.
Tell me about it.
So, Mobvoi has been doing this for a while. And, when it came to Android Wear into Wear OS, the first few generations of watches came from a lot of tech companies that were already selling phones and just kind of in that space.
Sure.
That has changed. Now a lot of the wearables come from watch manufacturers who are complementing their portfolio with smarter options.
Sure.
Mobvoi has kind of been in this kind of the last few years finding its footing, kind of dancing on both sides of that. Like they offer, and I think they first kind of cut their teeth, or I became aware of them for their watches, but they do have a whole, they're starting to expand their portfolio into other things, earbuds.
Sure.
We've got a treadmill that I'm reviewing right now from them as well. So this is one of their latest watches, the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS.
Yep.
So as the name tells you, it's got GPS built into it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the distinctions from some watches for people. Hey, I want to go on a run. I don't want to take my phone with me. I don't want to have this thing in my pocket or on an armband. I don't want to carry it.
Right.
GPS standalone that lets you do that, track those runs.
Right.
Without having to, it's not GPS assisted.
Right.
So that's a big selling feature for some people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're on the fence and you're like, oh man, I don't really know, that's a big deal to me. I go for bike rides or I go for, long runs and I want to track that. Do you want to carry your watch with you? Are you putting it in a hip pouch or in a backpack with you? Like if you want to leave the phone behind, you got to get something with GPS.
Right.
So this ticks one of those boxes right away for people.
Yeah.
This also has, I don't know if you can tell from this video, I know we took some pictures and some other stuff. This watch has a pretty big face.
It does.
It is a 48 millimeter. So it's among the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see they're like 41, 43. At 48, I mean, my wife, she noticed it from across the room. I'm not a Wear OS. Let me qualify this. I go through phases of really enjoying wearables and then forgetting about them.
Yes.
So I will tend to review things, find all the features, fall in love. It'll come off, I'll charge it, and then maybe that day I didn't need to wear it or I had to do something. I'm maybe working in the garden or laying mulch or doing something. I don't need the watch today, and then I didn't grab it tomorrow, and all of a sudden I'm just not wearing it again.
Yeah. Like, well, I didn't really miss it, so...
And one of the first things I do when I get them is I tend to turn off all of the notifications. Completely bypassing all the smart stuff that goes with it. Yeah. And I don't know why I do that. I don't know if I'm an exception to the rule or if I'm kind of like other people. I can't really wear this if I'm at the gym, like lifting weights and things. That's not going to work. If I'm doing any types of weird movements, I don't want to break this thing. But I don't feel like I'm going to at all. This is a very strong watch. Yeah. This is a IP68 rated.
Wow.
And it's got the mill standard 810G. So it's dust proof as well. Yeah. It's designed to kind of go everywhere I go. Yeah. And I feel like it can. Yeah. I'm kind of conditioned to take it off at the gym, put it in the locker, put it back on right away. Kind of defeats the purpose of some of its features, though. If I'm not going to the gym, but I'm just like walking around, living, doing all my other stuff, then it's something that, tracks my steps, tracks my sleep, tracks my heart rate. I can track exercises on here. So if I am just going to go for a walk or a run, There are some great features, and it's very easy to kind of go in and set that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it's got like a green kind of backlight.
Yeah.
That's a cool feature that you don't see in a lot of watches,
Uh-huh.
and this is what lets you kind of get a much better battery life.
Oh, okay.
For me, I'm using a watch, check the time.
Right.
I just want to see what it is, so I can see that without actually...
You don't have to actually turn it on or...
Right, so when I do that, it's kind of like... allows me to kind of sip at the battery. You'll get about 2 to 3 days on this thing.
Really?
With features turned on.
Wow.
It truly, and that's like with heart rate, Wi-Fi, notifications, sleep tracking. There's blood oxygen tracking or monitoring. So you can feel free to leave those things on.
Wow.
And that's another reason for me that I kind of come and go from wearables.
Yeah.
Is I don't like taking it on and off every night to charge it and putting it back on. If I'm wearing it to track my sleep, then when am I charging it throughout the day? How long am I charging it? Oh, my puck is at work. You know, this does have a proprietary plug. Okay. So if it's here, you know, and I leave for the weekend, I have to hope that it'll be ready for me or last until I get back on Monday.
Sure.
So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But the battery life on this has been great.
Yeah.
It's as promised. It's, you know, up to 3 days. It'll do, you can switch it over to basically like essential mode, which is basically watch.
Yeah.
You don't need the notifications, don't need the tracking, the sensors, and all these things. I think the website says it's like 45 days.
Wow.
So it's just like looking at that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, I can still see my steps, I can still see the battery, I can still see, you know, some of the features that are on there.
Right.
Without having to wake the thing up. Lots of customization features. This watch lets you go in and kind of change, you know, Wear OS has that, but then there is a companion app that you can get from Mobvoi that lets you kind of take things a little bit further and control that. There are 2 hardware buttons on here, so you can kind of say, what do I want this one on the bottom to do? For me, I just do that, and it's just going to check my pulse.
Nice.
And I can change that to a calendar or a calculator or Google Pay. So that's customizable. The buttons feel nice.
Yeah.
There is some knurling, like along the edges of the... are they dials? I'm trying to think of the word right now.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's both of those. And then along the edge of the case, I like that it also has the knurled edges. And there's like a semi-gloss kind of, you know, it's
a sharp-looking watch.
It's a sharp-looking watch, even though it's all black.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's easy to make a watch look utilitarian and boring if it's all black. And with the straps, you know, these are, you know, they're easy to clean, they're easy to take off.
Yeah.
If you need to replace them, you know, they just pop right off. Sure. Nice and simple. They didn't really reinvent anything with this watch. They kind of took everything that, you know, you want or hope to see in watches, and they just kind of delivered on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great watch for pretty much all aspects of life. There are some features built into it that you can go to if you want to, you know, focus on your breathing. If you want to just kind of de-stress, there are some different functions in here. You can do exercises, you can track sleep, your oxygen, you can do your alarm. Now the alarm, I don't set the alarm on here. I did see some feedback online from different people that when they use the alarm, they have to completely turn the watch off. I have to check. Okay. I don't want to speak to that.
Sure.
But I have seen a couple instances where that was part of the experience. And my understanding was they kind of pushed back and said that's a Wear OS thing, not so much a Mobvoi or UI feature.
Okay.
Hardware-wise, this has, you know, pretty much all of the hardware that you would expect. The display size, you know, it's a 1.4-inch screen. I've got resolution down at 454 around.
Yeah.
It's got 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage. It has a microphone, speaker. I mean, it's got pretty much all the things that you look for in a watch.
Yeah.
If you are looking for things and you're looking at bullet points and specs, that's something that, this one can kind of tick a lot of those boxes.
Sure.
off.
Now, that's one thing I've noticed in wearables that I've used is as you have more of the smart features turned on, whether it's the notifications or calendar sync or, some phone call stuff or things like that, as you have more things going, more processes going, the watch seems to slow down or have a little bit of a hiccup. Have you noticed anything like that?
I have not. Now, this has Wear OS, I believe, 2.3. Wear OS 3 is coming.
Yeah.
So that is something to kind of consider if you have to have or want to have that. It doesn't have it yet.
Sure.
But it is due, I would imagine, here shortly, I think in the spring.
Nice.
I haven't had any, issues of performance. I haven't seen anything where it's like lagging. Some of the older phones that had or watches that had 512 megabytes of memory, it became noticeable over time. Again, now I haven't installed too many third-party things.
Sure.
I have turned off some of my notifications.
Sure.
I did, one of the things with my phone is I'll put a lot of things on silent notifications, and I was getting vibrations on my wrist of things, and I'm like, now I'm hyper aware of every little thing that I thought I was kind of passively receiving. But you can dial that down. One of the cool things I recognized in the initial setting up is after wearing it for a little bit, I wanted to go in and change some of those. Like, I don't need to know Facebook comments and Instagram likes and some of these things, or that somebody was at my doorbell.
Sure.
Some of that I can leave on my phone. So when you go in, you can dial, toggle off all of the different apps.
Of what actually gets sent to the watch.
And
Nice.
the thing that I liked was at the top, it was like recent apps. And it was like a whole list of all the things that have recently
Notified you?
Yeah, so
Nice.
I turned that off and basically said, I don't want to receive any of these things.
Yeah.
And now some things kind of like squeak through, and it's like, what app is that?
Yeah.
Then I'm getting a notification. Then I can go in and say, nope, I don't want any more of that, telling me
Nice.
or notifying me. So I do like the customization, the software side of that as well.
So what does this thing come in at?
So the TicWatch 3, if you want to pick one up, you can go to Mobvoi's website and pick up this version in all black right now for about $254.
Okay.
And then they also offer 6 payments if you want to spread that out at about $42 a month.
That's pretty much in line with most smart wearables right now.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation around. It's kind of, for a lot of people, it's Apple.
Yeah.
Apple Watch, and that's pretty much it for them. Wear OS is a different animal. If you are doing a Fossil or a diesel watch or something like that, it's maybe a little bit more fashion forward. This one, there is nothing flashy about this thing, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the straps, if I want to, I could pop these off and put on something that's going to fit that nice and easy, and that's going to change the full aesthetic of this.
Sure.
The silicone, the bands clean up nice.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, like, if I'm going out to dinner or going to an event or something, that I may not want to look like it's my fitness band or something like that.
Nice.
Yep. So that's the Mobvoi TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.